Behind this veneer of Dundee's new multi-million-pound facade, this is a city with a drug crisis, and it's out of control.
I take my methadone in the morning, take 5 Valium of these, and then crack cocaine.
Are you addicted?
It's well 80 a day.
80 Valiums a day?
If I did 80 a day already.
Scotland is now Europe's drug death capital, and Dundee is the drug death capital of Scotland.
6 friends have died in the space of 3 weeks.
And that's not enough to make you stop?
No.
Paula's been addicted to drugs since she was 13. She's now hooked on these so-called street Valiums, a drug that was involved in almost 2/3 of Scotland's overdose deaths.
There's something in them that's different from normal Valium that, wow, no. It's horrible. It's not good at all.
Do you crave them?
Crave? You've got to get them or you can't function right.
Street Valiums are a potent mix of benzodiazepines, normally used to treat anxiety, sold here for less than the price of a chocolate bar.
I got 30 for £10.
30 for £10?
Yep.
30 pence a pill. These drugs are more prevalent in Scotland than other parts of the UK, swallowed by the dozen. They also become more lethal when mixed with a cocktail of other drugs. The user just stops breathing. What are you guys taking?
Valium and crack cocaine.
And the methadone.
Yeah.
There's so many addicts are dying.
Yeah, I'm worried about dying. I'm really worried about dying.
I'm worried about it, but
it's not enough to make you stop. 3/4 of those who died here of overdose had mental health problems. Most had at least one child they left behind. Sharon is now in recovery from addiction and helps others coming off drugs. Her fiancé died while being treated for his addiction, leaving behind a daughter.
It's a tragedy. I see on a daily basis the effects of the drug deaths in Dundee, and it's devastating. It's devastating to see partners, children, mothers who have lost people and are left, like, there's no support for them after someone dies. Like, even my own children have gone without, like, my daughter had waited since, I think, 5 years now for bereavement counselling to address the issues after her dad died. And that we're not isolated, and I think that, yes, it's a tragedy.
Is Scotland doing the right thing? Do you think
if we were doing the right thing, people wouldn't be dying?
This problem is not confined to Dundee, and it's not hidden away in the shadows. In rush hour, right in the centre of Glasgow, street Valium dealers offered me a sale.
Alright, how's it going?
25 in the back, we're getting 50 for a score.
50 for a score?
Aye.
Where are we getting from?
We were told gangs are recruiting children. Then a teenage boy, no older than 16, offered a sale of heroin.
I'm not selling Valium, I'm selling.
Alright.
It stabbed me.
Heroin? Heroin, right.
The boy was hiding the heroin in his mouth, enough to kill him if he swallowed it. The street Valiums also become more lethal when mixed with opiates like heroin.
Perfect.
This lab tests and researches drugs killing people on Scotland's streets.
The street diazepam market is almost like a Russian roulette. So if you bought something one week and it's a white tablet with certain markings, next week if you buy the same looking tablets, the concentration might be different and the drug itself may have changed.
Scotland's drug death figures won't be published until next month, but ITV News has learned it will show deaths are up again, for the first time to more than 1,000.
The drug-related death rate is likely to overtake the alcohol-related death rate for the first time, which is very symbolic for a country like Scotland with its alcohol reputation.
Scotland's reputation for hard drinking is being replaced by hard drugs. There's now research being done to look at whether the introduction of minimum pricing for alcohol has pushed more people towards these cheap pills. But it's already the case that the scale of problem drug users deemed at risk or vulnerable here is now double that of England. The majority of the people who died here last year were receiving treatment for their addiction. Almost half had methadone in their system when they overdosed. These are people who were trying to get help. That so many of them are still dying raises concerns about how Scotland is responding to this drug death crisis. While drug deaths have stabilised in the rest of Britain and across Europe, here it's still accelerating. The Scottish Government are now preparing to deliver a drug task force to look at the problem.
I think drug deaths are actually increasing across Europe. So
they're stabilised across Europe. Scotland is a complete outlier.
The pattern is similar, I think.
No, Scotland is a complete outlier. Scotland's accelerating at a rate that's not seen anywhere else in Europe.
I want to do what I can to turn this around. Even across Scotland, there are differences in terms of the drug use that we need to make sure that we are able to provide the appropriate support for.
The majority of people who are dying are reaching out for help. They're still dying.
We absolutely need to look at how we can provide that support.
We still don't know.
Well, that is why I'm setting up the expert group, is to look at what more we can do.
People will die in the meantime, though. People will continue dying.
And if I can save one life, I will do.
This is a country with a drug problem, where drug deaths have already doubled in a decade, and now Scotland must brace itself for even more lives being lost.